So, proceeding with the assembly. Everything's cleaned up now. I've got rid of all the swarf and everything, brought all the components back in, refreshed my caffeine levels, so carry on assembling everything into the panel. I've already unpacked most of the contactors because that's just tedious. This is the last one I've got here. There's nothing fancy, just a box with a load of information inside, which you usually don't need to reference if you're familiar with them, and a contactor. I do need to add auxiliary blocks to some of them. Most of those will go on later. I think there's only a couple of add-on top add-on ones that go on later. But for the big power contactors, the side blocks they need fitting first. I put that one just to check it was the correct matching type when it arrived. Oh, just another point. These contactors are actually supplied with cable clamp attachments, which allow two cables with ferrules, or just bare cables even if you wanted, to be clamped into each terminal position. But that means the cables stick out straight out and take a lot of space. For this application, space is critical, and also the tops of most of the contactors are just being linked across, either in pairs or all four. And one of them has links vertically to the next one below it. So those clamps are going to be in the way for the internal wiring at least, though they could get used for the external wiring. Anyway, I'll start with this and see if they fit. Oh, that's not got the... I've just had it on the auxiliary blocks, I don't particularly fit that one yet. I swapped over. Those areas. Should just clip on the side. Put them on the right side for consistency. Two fixed hooks and two spring latches, so it should just snap on. That's it. Right. One other thing before I start on those, I need some end stops and ring rails. A couple of bags out, so I'm probably going to need quite a few. These are sort of clamps that prevent items moving about on the rail and provide spacing as appropriate. I like to put them on the end of the rail, then if there's any vibration, the stuff's not going to slide about. Tighten that one up yet, I'll make sure it matches the top one. Put the contactors on. These are a different terminal to the ones I normally use, as the VAMBAC W series I commonly use are to high enough voltage rating, and this particular type is rated at 1000 volts, which is more appropriate for this job. So I'll see if I can fit them all in there. Oh, see, the barriers are twin profile, so they'll fit either G-rail or top hat rail. Oh, the terminals will fit. Solid fit. Strange fitting. Right, that's the high voltage section on. Everything else is, almost everything else is 24 volt power and control. So I can now start with these. Again, I'll try stops because I like to use the stops at the end just on principle. If I have to rearrange things, I'll do that. So 7 of these contactors on each. That's it, let's put that back in. Okay, right, that's all the major parts on the panel. Now, if we can get some more terminals and whatever in the top, the main terminal rail, if I don't have the space up there, is going to go on the floor, if you like, in the bottom of the cabinet this goes into, on some angle brackets and offset DIN rail. So relative to the base of the cabinet, it'd be something like that, and just in front of these, so the power cables will go down the back. But until I get this nail wide up to some extent, I won't know for sure exactly where things are going to go, because I've got to work it out as I go. Okay, that's this particular stage complete. Okay, a bit more component jigsaw or component Tetris. One of the bits that's got to go in with the DIN rail terminals, as I mentioned, these are actually terminal fuse holders. They're going to protect the various control circuits, both internally and feeds to the external wiring. So nothing is overloaded excessively in case of a fault. Now, I left that space there, but if I put them there, the way these work is that the top opens out for access to the fuse, and that module's so big it'd be difficult to access them. So I've rearranged it. It's now got the positively guided relays there, and the timers immediately there, which are nice and low, so I can get the parts after it. The end one of these has a little cover over to protect the exposed parts at the end. There's supposed to be a separate bottom one as well, but they're on back order, so that'll be here in a few days. It's not far, so I can fit that before the thing's installed.